Hello, hello. Man, today I wanted to do something kind of cool. So, I had a former student of mine who is specializing in motion graphics after graduation come in, and she was really worried about getting a new contract and not knowing how to onboard a new client. And man, this is something that I find myself explaining to students all the time and really trying to help people with. And I think I've got a pretty good process for it at this point in my career. So I wanted to go through and share out some of the lessons that I've learned and the way that I really go about in doing this. So the client in real time that we're going to be talking about here is Alive and Well. They're a great foundation with a focus on mental health and spreading mental health awareness, not only for other clinical psychologists, but for the general public as well. And I was approached by them to create a video series of 3 to 4 videos that are going to run between 3 to 6 minutes long each. And we had our initial onboarding call. During the initial onboarding call, I usually do some starter research right at the beginning and just sort of do an assessment of what their website's looking like, what stands out to me, what general information I can bring to the table so that I have some questions if the need arises. But I like this first phone call with the client to be just really organic as we're going through and just sort of talking about what it is that they're envisioning. We really want to, in this first phone call, get an idea of where it is they want to head, what they want their optimal result to be, because this is absolutely within any contract part of the honeymoon phase, right? So you are just starting to court each other. Everything is roses and fairy dust, and this is the peak of the client relationship, right? When you guys get started before you go into production. So during this meeting, I found out what it is that they're looking for, what are the key factors that they want to highlight, and so they want their videos to be entertaining. They want to help keep their content and their information relevant to anyone in future generations that want to be able to discover this information online. And they also want it to help the main clinical psychologist sell books. So we've got 3 big factors that we're looking for here, and they've got some ideas for what they want their series to be about. I think that they've got a lot more ideas that they can do after this. So after that initial meeting, I let them know that I'm going to come up with 3 different things for them. The first is an invoice. I want to give them sort of what this is going to cost, a itemized list of what I feel like these 3 to 4 videos and each one of them is going to cost individually. The next thing that I want to go in and give to a client is a timeline. I'm feeling fairly confident that I'm probably going to get this job. I hope it's at what I imagine the budget to be. I think that I'm going to budget pretty fairly for the amount of work that this is going to entail. And with the timeline, I really want to be detailed within these early stages. So a lot of these next steps are going to be about refining the script. Whenever you're working with a first party, an owner of a company, they have so much passion and so much good information to give on the topic that a lot of times it's overwhelming. And even though you're a motion graphics artist, you're a creative, you're a designer, when you're doing these types of videos, you also have to be a little bit of a copywriter and a little bit of a script writer and a disseminator for the information that they want to get across, so that within those 3 to 6 minute long videos, you're not trying to say too much. You have pause and thinking time and screen transition time and time for you to be able to show instead of just tell the audience what's going on. I remember a while ago I did one of these videos, and man, I rewrote the script probably 6 different times with different tonnage in there, with different lengths of time to be able to get the core messaging in there. And the person in charge was not interested in cutting down that script at all. So we ended up with this 3-minute long video that was so inside baseball and so buzzwordy that 45 seconds into it, your brain just went completely numb and the entire messaging was lost. So that's something that I really want to set up with this timeline and this initial sort of review and stages moving forward. The last thing that I'm going to give the client that I'm going to be delivering this Friday, and what I'm going to be building out within this series as it goes on, is a pitch deck. So how am I putting together the ideas? How am I showing the direction and the initial path that we can begin on? These things always change. They're not set in stone. They're supposed to be mutable and to be adopted and adapted later on down the line. But it's really that first chance after that initial meeting to say, okay, here's the roadmap. Let's lay it out on the table. Here's what it's going to look like. And that's what I'm going to be building next. So I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to peel back the curtain, show you what my billing process looks like, the breakdown, what me building out my initial pitch deck looks like, and what kind of information I want to include in there for the project summary, the overview, the timeline, and what that initial sort of invoice or billing statement is going to look like when I send that over. So I hope this stuff is helpful to you guys, and look forward to take me on this journey with me.